Windows Studio. You know what's a perfect gift for Christmas? Calta Cruise 15.
Hey, Annie, come take a look at the present I got for us.
Holy shit, you put a Calta Cruise under the Christmas tree? Awesome!
Book now and join the entire Mike Calta show and a whole bunch of your Bo and Fam friends on Calta Cruise 15. We're cruising out of Tampa Bay for a 5-day, 4-night cruise on March 10th and heading to Costa Maya on Royal Caribbean's Brilliance of the Seas. We'll have 2 private parties, tons of activities, a bunch of cool prizes, and a live comedy performance from comedians Mike Cannon and Robert Kelly. Just call Accent on Travel to book now. 727-786-3336. Email caltacruise@gmail.com or go to theboneonline.com for more info.
We're gonna rage!
Calta Cruise 15, sponsored by Side Splitters Comedy Club. Real Raw Radio is the best. Wait, is that it? There's nothing else written here. It's just the best. The best what? All right. 102.5 The Bone. We're the best. Now, back to
Call in.
Real Raw Radio. Sponsored by Anajar and Levine, Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
I'm about to whip somebody's ass.
From the Autoglass America studios, it's the Mike Calta After Show.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
He never holds back, and he speaks his mind. Welcome back to Hoppe Hour.
Happy Hour.
Hoppe Hour.
Ladies and gentlemen, here it is. The most listened to radio show on the planet. Even the other stations are tuned in too.
Oh, yeah, it's the Mike Calta After Show, invaded by Ryan Hoppe. 727-579-1025 and 1-800-771-1025. Let's play some Notorious B.I.G. on this Wednesday that feels like a Friday.
Yeah.
What up?
This album is dedicated to all the teachers
What's an album?
on Mountain Night. To all the people that lived above the buildings that I was hustling from, that called the police on me when I was just trying to make some money to feed my daughter. And to all my peoples in the struggle, you know what I'm saying? It's all good, baby.
What's good?
It was all a dream. I used to...
So, 10 years ago, I was a senior in high school. And I know that makes a lot of Bone listeners feel old, but I loved the Cowhead Show, and I loved In Your Face with Drew Garabo. And if you would have told me a decade later that I would be doing my own show for a day, for an hour, I would have fainted in school. I had the worst speech impediment, and now Tampa Bay, let me turn it down. Tampa Bay, you get to hear enough of it, but when I tell you that I had the worst speech impediment growing up, I had no shot at making it in radio. I couldn't get a word out, so I've worked really hard for this moment. But this moment isn't about me. This moment is a moment to prove to you guys what I can do. And I'm not going to overcompensate by patting myself on the back the whole time. But I'm just saying, I want to hear from you guys. You can ask me anything. But here's the main part of this after show segment. I want to hear about your weird uncle or your weird aunt and what they say at the Thanksgiving dinner table. Because growing up, I have family, and call 727-579-1025 and 1-800-771-1025. Growing up, I'm from Chicago. I don't know if you can tell by my accent, but I'm the most Chicago person ever. I don't know if you saw the cartoon Chicago Party on Netflix, but that show is literally my life. So my dad's side of the family, rest in peace to my dad, who passed away 7 years ago on Friday, we're all from Chicago, and my mom is from Cleveland, which I'm sorry for, and North Carolina. So every Thanksgiving, we would go to North Carolina and see my mom's side of the family. And I have this really rich uncle named Uncle Ken who lives out in Los Angeles, who is like a really wealthy architect. And I also have this Uncle Bob who lived with my Nana, which is a southern way of saying grandma. And my Uncle Bob lived with her from 1985 till 2006 when she passed away. And then my rich uncle, like the saint that he is, until my Uncle Bob died in 2018, he was paying for the apartment he lived in. He was paying for his legal fees. Like, my Uncle Bob was always in trouble, but was always able to get away with it. If it was like just driving drunk or whatnot, he was always in trouble. And you ever have it where when you're at the dinner table, you know, even in 2nd to 3rd grade, that your uncle's weird? But like, you have good intentions thinking it's normal that you heard him say the C word randomly at the dinner table. And then in 3rd grade, you go to the playground and you're like, hey guys, I learned a new word. And then you get a call from your friend's mom, calling your mom saying, why is Ryan saying the C word at the playground? That happened. But there's a moment of my Uncle Bob that I will never forget. He passed away in June 2018. And the most amazing part about his funeral, if there's ever an amazing part about a funeral, was all our family went. Like, everybody that had Southern charm, like everybody on my mom's side, they all went to the funeral. And like, nobody was really complimenting Uncle Bob. Like, we all had a sort of agreement that Uncle Bob wasn't a great person, but he really meant well in this lifetime. And I'm going to tell you an example about how my Uncle Bob meant well, but was just a maniac. So I'm taking you back to the long lost year of 2008. And you remember, this is for Gen Z out there that might not know, when movie theaters released movies would be in the theater for longer than like 3 months. It'd be there for even 9 months. And then you would have like a second tier movie theater where you could see movies that came out 5 months prior for $5. So for Thanksgiving night, after eating Thanksgiving dinner with my dad, my mom, my rich Uncle Ken, my crazy Uncle Bob, and myself, we go to the local movie theater in Greensboro, North Carolina. And I wanted to be an edgelord. Like I always do. Like I always try to be the person that says it like it is. So I decided to see the horrendous movie that's amazing called Max Payne. That's how long ago it was with Mark Wahlberg. The best, worst movie of all time. It could have been good. So I'm in the other movie theater seeing Max Payne, and my dad, my mom, my Uncle Bob, and my Uncle Ken are seeing The Dark Knight. And halfway through Max Payne, I gave up on it. So then I went in and saw The Dark Knight with my family. And I could tell I'm a very soft person. But my dad was very, very soft and very innocent. And what happened was he was kind of getting triggered by The Dark Knight. He didn't like the Joker. He didn't like this. He didn't like that. So when the movie ends, we go into the car, and my Uncle Ken, who's an architect, the rich one, he's very vocal. Like, he loves talking to anybody. He could talk to a bathroom attendant for an hour, and literally everybody would be waiting in line like a theme park to wash their hands. He lights up the room. And we're in the car driving back after seeing the movie, and he's like, oh, so what'd you guys think of it? I'm like, well, I saw it in August, so I liked it. My mom's just kind of humming along like she does in life. I don't remember what she said. But my dad's trying to contribute to the conversation. Got the Dark Knight music from Hans Zimmer. And he goes, I thought it was kind of dark. And my Uncle Bob, it's me, my mom, and myself in the back seat, because of course my 6-foot Uncle Bob gets the front seat treatment, and 6'7" goofy Ryan, as if I'm not goofy now, 13 years ago, I have to sit in the back seat. My Uncle Bob from the front seat says to my dad and goes, well, what did you expect? Puppies? But he didn't just say puppies, he said the F word in front of it. So after my dad contributes to the conversation and goes, well, I think it was kind of dark, my creepy uncle goes, well, what did you expect? Puppies? And this look of defeat on my father's face, like he was just trying to fit in with the boys. We're just hanging out. We're just trying to get along and have a good time because we all know Uncle Bob's crazy and he thinks he's amazing. And the look of defeat on my dad's face absolutely broke my heart. And I think I may have even patted him on the back because I hung out with my Uncle Bob more because there were some years that my dad was like, I'm just not going to Thanksgiving. So I want to hear from you guys. Do you have something that's even crazier than my Uncle Bob? Like maybe what I just said makes my Uncle Bob look so normal compared to what you're about to say. 727-579-1025 and 1-800-771-1025. To the 813 that I just put on hold, wait there for a second, but 954 has been on hold for a minute, so I want to give them their time of day. 1025 The Bone, you're on the air.
Hey, what do you want right now?
What am I what?
What are you wearing right now?
I am wearing a shirt and jeans and shoes. I do not come to work naked. Why do you ask that, sir?
I was just trying to get, just curious, trying to get a little turned on. My grandfather, he was in a nursing home and suffering from dementia at the time, and ended up getting kicked out of the nursing home. The reason he was kicked out of the nursing home, Ryan, was because he was told on multiple occasions that it was not appropriate to receive fellatio from other folks in the nursing home, in common areas, that is.
I've always wondered, is this Bob?
Yeah.
Wow, we're actually, I like this moment in time. We're actually getting along. Let me ask you, how often do you think people are getting freaky in a nursing home? Because I've always wondered if they have the energy or the mindset. When you were there, did you ever hear any rumblings about anything going on?
Well, I was a kid when I would visit my grandfather, and no, but in hindsight, I've read several reports, the villages.
Yes.
Or Central Florida.
Very slutty.
Huge retirement home. Yeah, it's got one of the highest STD rates in the country. So there's certainly something there where old folks, they just don't care. They have very little as far as restraints at that point. What do they have to lose? So I don't know that their libido is heightened at that point in their lives, but I think their inhibition is expedited. They're just far less concerned with the judgment at that time. They're gonna die.
Yeah. Well, also, when you get laid now, you're like, okay, I have 40 to 70 more years of this, so this isn't my last time, hopefully. But, I feel like when you're 80 years old and you're having sex, I feel like there's a different effort you bring in, because it truly could be your last time having sexual intercourse.
One of my best friends passed away this year at...
I'm sorry.
...years old.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, it's all right. Yeah, he was 96, so... and I asked him, probably in his early 90s, I said, Hart, do you still have sex? Does it work down there? What's the deal? I sound like Jerry Seinfeld.
What is the deal?
97-year-old penis. And his response was that he still had the thoughts, but there was no connection whatsoever. He still lusted on some level, psychologically, but physiologically, he just had nothing going on downstairs. There was no action-reaction going on. And he still, to his final days, had a girlfriend. And even though they couldn't have the traditional intercourse, he would cuddle with her regularly. And she was annoying, too. And I would ask him, why do you put up with this woman at your age? And he liked to cuddle. That's all he had left. Was, eventually, at some point, that's perhaps all we'll have at one point, Ryan.
And it's not, but there's something really special about cuddling. Because you're not, especially when you know you're not going to get laid, you can just feel out the vibes that you're not getting laid that night, so you're putting in all your effort to cuddle, and then you end up getting laid. There's something really magical about there's no sexual pressure, and you're just laying there watching Friends or whatever.
What I want to know is, I know you're 6'7", I'm 5'11". Any chance I could be the big spoon between us?
I would be honored. I'm in awe that we're even getting along, because I've been doing the Migs and Swig show for 3 years, and I feel this, I don't want to say bond because I don't really know you, but I feel like we hate each other less.
Well, we're both fans of talk radio. We share that. I've been involved and have done talk radio since I was a young teenager. So we might have more in common than you think. And, I admire your tenacity to continue your radio journey. I gave up early on because I realized when Clear Channel was buying out every single...
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Putting in the syndicated hosts on every station, Sean Hannity and the likes, that radio was a dying industry, talk radio in particular. So I gave up and sold out and went and became a gigolo instead. I thought I'd make more money doing that.
Well, Bob, I have a full slate of calls, but I appreciate this peace offering. It's been a good call, bro. All right. Thanks, babe. Hopefully my girlfriend doesn't get mad. I just called Bob, babe. All right. 813, you're on the air. Who's this?
Hello?
Yeah, what's going on, bro? You're on the air. What's your name?
My name's James.
What's going on, James?
Hey, so I was looking for your input real quick. When I was 7 years old, my dad took 40 Benadryls and died right in front of me. And I just want to know what you thought about that.
I'm very sorry you went through that. I don't know if that's a prank call or not. I'm going to hang up. But I do say that I've always sympathized with somebody who lost their father, because 7 years ago this Friday, I came home and I found my dad passed away. So it's one of those things where there's a common bond you have with somebody when you lose your father, because you just see death right in front of you. And I feel like we always see death right in front of us, but I'm not trying to make the mood depressing, and I don't know how to respond to that. So I will move on to 941, because I feel like we're going to have a great call from across the bridge, because from across the Skyway Bridge, rather. Because I don't know if Braden Tucky likes me. Because when I do Migs and Swig and a Myco show and everything on the weekend, a lot of times the 941 is full of people that despise me. And that's completely and utterly fine if you despise me. In this free country we live in this free society we live in, I don't care if you don't like me. I block you, and that's fine, but I do love some good old compliments, some good patting on the back. All right, 941, who is this?
Brian.
What's going on, Brian?
Hey, not too much, Ryan. Just wanted to give you a little insight. By the way, I think you're doing a fantastic job.
Thank you, sir. What's going on?
Oh, man. Yeah, keep it up. So, my girlfriend, she's a nurse by trade, and when she started out in her early days, she started off in a nursing home, and the gentleman would get their prescription refills of, say, men's health medication.
Yes.
Literally shake it as they were walking down the hall to let all the women know that they had just got their refill.
Man. Did she like working there? Like, what was her vibe like?
She loved it. She developed her passion for nursing there.
Well, I don't know. Did you ever have a grandparent that lived in one? Any of them?
No. We were fortunate enough to take care of our grandparents at home when the time was getting close.
So I had a grandpa that went in. He died in 2010, but he probably went to a nursing home in like 07, so he was like 84. And it's kind of sad, because at least when they're living at home, they have their own space. But when you have like military and you have Marines from World War II that are badasses and that served and that were heroes, it's kind of sad when you see them like just laying there. You know what I mean? But I don't mean to make this depressing. What are your plans for this year's Thanksgiving? Well, I'm sorry, sir. Your phone was breaking up. I didn't mean to hang up on you. I'm sure what you were saying was great, and I appreciate you calling, but I just can't have the speakerphone like that. But I sincerely am glad you called. All right. 1025 The Bone. Who's this? You're on the air.
Hey, Hoppe, what's going on, brother?
What's going on, man? What's your name?
Hey, it's Big Mike.
What's going on, Big Mike? What's happening?
Hey, not a whole lot, man. Just kind of getting things, Brian's ready to go for Turkey Day. Yeah.
What's it like out there? Because the last 2 days, I don't mean to interrupt you, but I just did. The last 2 days, I've been working all day, and then I lay at home, and then I went to a second job last night. So I haven't really been on the roads and been out and about. So to explain to the audience, what is the Thanksgiving vibe like out and about in this beautiful Tampa Bay area?
Bro, it is insane. Put on your riot gear if you're going to the...
Oh, man.
It is absolutely nuts.
Why do they need to bring their riot gear? When they're going there, what is the first thing you see that makes you afraid?
Grandma going for last can of cranberry sauce, man. She's got brass knuckles, and she's not afraid to use them.
Isn't it kind of depressing, though, with this shortage of items we have currently? There's something really depressing about going down the aisle at Publix and just seeing empty food. Even though I wasn't going to buy the food, even though I wasn't going to purchase it, there's something really depressing about just not seeing food there. I don't know if you're going through that.
Not only that, bro, but cleaning out the bank account, because this is by far, on record, the most expensive Thanksgiving that anyone's ever had.
And I know it's low-hanging fruit. I'm not going to say Biden or whatever, but with the gas price, I just did, but with the gas prices going up, it's almost like when the gas prices were lower, it was kind of fun because you're like, ooh, how much can I save? And now I literally have to plan around the whatever money I make. It's really depressing when you look at how much you're spending on gas, man. I mean, shout out to the truck drivers out there and everybody who drives around all day and listens to the Bone. I cannot imagine paying those gas prices. Shout out to you heroes.
Yeah, bro. When I work critical care for a hospital and transport around all these vent patients and things, and COVID and all this year was crazy for me, but it's crazy, bro, when it's $60 to fill up your tank and you gotta look at your budget again just to be able to get to work.
Well, sir, any fun plans on this Thanksgiving before I let you go?
To get back home safely in one piece and not get a black eye from grandma with a rough neck. That's my plan.
Hell yeah, man. You're going to manifest that. Thank you. All right, man. The phone lines are blowing up. I appreciate this. I was going to talk about celebrity news, but I feel like you can just search up Hoppe Radio on every single platform to listen. I want to really get to know the Tampa Bay audience because I feel like they don't really know me. You hear what other shows say about me, which is fine. I don't care. But I feel like Tampa doesn't really know who I am. I was talking to my shrink about that. I have a shrink. And he was saying that like they just know you as a voice. So I want this to be a bonding moment with the Tampa Bay area. I want this to be a moment on November 24th, 2021, where you said, man, Ryan Hoppe really talked about himself a lot on air. 1025 The Bone, you're on the air.
Hey, how's it going?
What's going on, bro?
You got a really good show today, man. I just wanted to say I really enjoy what you're doing, and we like to have live content instead of best of, so we do appreciate you filling in, man.
You too, bro. Thank you. 1025 The Bone, you're on the air. Who's this? Hi, you're on the radio talking to hundreds of thousands of people. What's going on?
Hello.
What's up, sir?
Hey, my name's Daniel. This isn't about my aunt or your uncle. That is strange, but it's about my ex-brother-in-law. He wouldn't touch the food unless he was the first one to eat. Nobody else could touch the food before he got his plate.
So I want to get a picture on this guy because that doesn't sound like somebody who does that. That's not their only flaw or their only little weird thing. So what are some other weird things he does besides that so I can kind of paint a picture of what this guy is like? Like, what is he like in a social gathering?
I didn't know one. Well, he's very germophobic, for one. But the other thing is that I know that after him and my sister had a divorce, he would go into the house where he wasn't allowed to go after they were divorced while she was at work and take things out of the house. So he's a kind of strange guy.
He sounds like it. Any fun plans for this Thanksgiving before I let you go?
Well, I'll probably just go volunteer and help to serve some Thanksgiving meals.
That's very noble of you. I've never met you. I don't think I ever will. I know you're from the 727, and that's the best area code, even though I'm not from here. But let me tell you, the fact that this is a day, especially in a pandemic, where everybody's looking out for themselves, and there's no food on the shelf, and nothing's really going right. The fact that you are going out and helping out people is very admirable.
Well, I like to do whatever I can when I can. But believe me, come that Monday night game or that Thursday night game tomorrow, that Bills Saints game, I'm going to be doing some partying. I'm a big Saints fan. We lost Jameis Winston.
Speaking of, I'm sorry about that. Not really. I don't like Jameis. Speaking of football, we need to create a petition to get the Lions off of Thanksgiving. I don't care about tradition. They were never even good when they were on Thanksgiving. I get that it's a big city and a big fan base, but it just really makes the football experience horrendous because I hate everything about the Lions. I didn't mind Matthew as a quarterback, but he's really showing that he's average on the Rams. He might go on to win the Super Bowl, and I'm wrong. But don't you think that that the Lions just need to get off. And this is coming from a Bears fan that is in purgatory and will never support that team.
The Lions have never been really any good, even when they had Barry Sanders. It even makes me more upset.
What?
When they have sorry games on Monday Night Football, where they got like the Giants and the Jets playing on Monday night. Who wants to see that if you're not from New York?
Especially Thursday Night Football, when it's like Dolphins and Jets. I'm like, okay, this is just a fantasy football game at this point.
Yep, pretty much.
All right, thank you, sir. And speaking of fantasy football, the Mike O radio show, which airs every Saturday from 2 till 4 p.m., I beat him this week in fantasy, and I couldn't believe it. But then again, look at me just here as I manifest success. We'll be right back.
It's the Mike Calta After Show on 102.5.